Hello home bakers, welcome to the third part of the Christmas cake series where we get to bake the Christmas cake. I hope that you will enjoy making this cake. So the first thing you want to do is to drain all the excess liquid from your pre-soaked fluid and set aside to drain while you start to prepare your cake batter. Look how juicy and plump all those fruits look. So you're now going to combine the butter and the sugar. So I'm using a mixture of dark brown sugar and light brown sugar. If you have a stand mixer, whisk it in the stand mixer for about a minute. But I'm showing you how you can mix and cream your butter and sugar if you don't have a stand mixer. You can just use a spatula. It's a little bit of a workout, but you'll get that done. You can also use a hand mixer if that's what you have. Next, we're going to combine all the dry ingredients together. So I've already had my flour in the bowl. I've added the baking powder, and then I'm going to add the sphere of spices into the mix. In the description section, you will have a list of all the spices that I use for my Christmas fruit cake, as well as other alternatives that you can consider for your Christmas cake. Don't miss out the spices. It's a huge part of what makes your Christmas fruit cake taste amazing. So mix that all together so that it's all evenly distributed. So the sugar and the butter mixture is creamed. You're going to add one egg and then whisk it together either with a whisk or a stand mixer. Then you're going to add half of the flour mixture and whisk together until the flour is just combined. At this stage, you want to be careful that you don't overmix. You just want to mix until you can't see any flour granules in your mixture. Then you add the next egg and then the other half of the flour mixture. If you are doubling this mixture, then you want to interspace adding an egg, some of the flour, adding an egg until all the flour is into your mixture, and then you mix until it's well combined, and that's the consistency that you're looking for. So this is your cake batter. It should be nice and smooth with no lumps and a gorgeous brown color. Next, we're going to add the dried fruit. You can see you've drained out all the fluid. You don't want excess moisture in your cake, and just gently fold all that yummy fruit into your cake batter. And if you soaked it with alcohol, the smell is absolutely gorgeous. As a final treat, I like to add chocolate chips to my fruit cake, but this is absolutely optional. Next, you pour it into your cake tin, which has been prepped. If you don't know how to prep your cake tin, it's in part 1 of the series, and it's also at the end of this video. Give it a little tap until it's nicely distributed in your cake pan. So next we're going to create the water bath, and this allows your cake to cook evenly. Now, fruit cake does take hours to cook, so adding a water bath allows for even cooking. And here is our delicious fruit cake. Absolutely yummy and will be the star of your Christmas table. Lastly, I'm going to show you how to wrap and store your Christmas cake. So you want to wrap it with some greaseproof baking paper, also called parchment paper, making sure it's nicely well covered. And you want to do that with 2 layers. So the first layer, you can see I'm just nicely, neatly folding it. And then I'm going to add the second layer for protection, and then I'm going to then wrap in aluminium foil, and you can either store into an airtight cake tin or you can store in the fridge. If you're going to store in the fridge, then wrapping your cake properly will prevent it from drying out in the fridge. So that's the Christmas fruitcake series. I hope that you'll make this for Christmas. Now, if you've missed part 1 and part 2, they're coming right up in this video, so you can keep watching and learning all the steps to making an amazing fruitcake. Hello home bakers, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to soak your dried fruit when you're making a fruit cake. And fruit cake is perfect just in time for Christmas. These are the ingredients that I'm using: a pre-packed fruit mix and some glazed cherry. In the description, I will give you some detailed information about what dried fruit you can use in the quantities. If you have any larger size fruit, make sure you chop them into smaller pieces so all the fruit are roughly even sizes. So here is the pre-packed fruit mix, which has raisins, currants, and some candied orange and lemon peel. I'm now adding the chopped glazed cherry. Next, we're going to prepare all the liquid that we're going to be soaking the fruit with. So for both the alcoholic and non-alcoholic version, we're going to be using orange juice as well as lemon zest. It's good to use freshly squeezed orange juice directly from the orange, and I'm also using the zest of lemon. You can also add lemon juice for some extra zestiness. So for the alcoholic version, I'm using amaretto, and you can use a whole different variety of different alcoholic liquor. Check out the description for more liquor that you can use to soak your fruit. So pour the freshly squeezed orange juice into the bowl with the mixed fruit, add your lemon zest, and then mix all together with a spatula. Next, you're going to add your chosen liquor, and you want to add enough of your alcoholic liquor, enough to cover the fruit. So you want to make sure that the fruits are well covered. It would be a good idea to give it another quick stir so that it's all nicely combined. And as you can see, all the fruits are fully soaked and covered with the alcoholic liquor. Then next I'm going to cover it with cling film, and then I'm going to store in the fridge. Now, the longer that you soak your fruit with alcoholic beverage, the more flavorful it becomes. If you're going to be storing for a long time, you can store in an airtight container in the fridge. So method 2 is the non-alcoholic version. So again, I have similar mixed fruit and candied cherries in a bowl, and here I'm using orange juice as one of the liquids that I'm going to soak the fruit with. So you can see we're using a lot more orange juice than previously. The other liquid that I'm going to be using to soak my fruit is tea. Yes, tea. Good old regular tea. So you add the tea bags directly on top of your mixed fruit, and then you top it up with boiling water until the fruit is well nicely covered, and then you give that a mix. And yes, that is the non-alcoholic way of soaking your fruit. So again, you store this one in the fridge. With the non-alcoholic version, you definitely want to store in the fridge for up to a maximum period of time of 1 week. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you take it out ready for your baking. So you can see the liquid all there, and before you use it for your baking, you make sure that you strain out all the liquid. As you can see, the process of soaking has made the fruit nice and plump, juicy and full of moisture. Don't forget to look at the other videos in my Christmas fruitcake playlist series so that you can make an amazing Christmas fruitcake for Christmas. Happy baking! Hello home bakers, today I'm going to show you how to properly line your cake tin for your Christmas fruit cake. So I've already had a pre-cut parchment paper circle that fits into the inside of my cake tin. Because of the nature of fruit cake, you want to also line the sides. So here I'm just getting a rough estimate of the total circumference of my cake tin, measuring that onto the parchment paper. Then I'm going to cut it out and fit it into the cake tin. Now, because fruit cake bakes at a lower temperature and for longer, you run the risk of the cake over baking or over browning if you don't properly line it. So for this particular recipe, it is absolutely important that you properly line your cake tin. If you are new to my channel and you are wondering how to actually line a cake tin if you're baking your standard sponge cake, I've got videos on how to line both a round cake and a square cake. I will put these videos in the description section so you can have a look at them later on to see how to line a cake for your regular baking. So now you can see I've got the full circumference and a length that will go in the cake tin. You will notice when I put in the parchment paper that actually the height is much taller than my cake tin, and this is deliberate, and you will understand later on. So when you learn your cake tin, you want there to be an overhang of parchment paper on the outside of the cake tin. So I will show you exactly what I mean in a second. Now be sure to make sure that you've properly greased your cake tin, both the bottom and sides of your cake tin. Now you can gently stick the parchment paper onto the sides of your cake, and now we're going to start to create that overhang of parchment paper and folding it on the outside of your cake tin, just as you see right here. And the reason for this, again, is protective of your cake, to allow your cakes to bake more evenly and stop them from over baking and over browning. If you are a subscriber, welcome, and if you haven't, I tell you, you are missing out. Why don't you click the subscribe button, which is flashing up on your screen now. Subscribe and put on all the notification buttons. I post videos at least once a week on cake decorating, cake recipes, tips and tricks that will help you make amazing cakes. You don't want to miss out. Click the subscribe button now. So here is the finished cake. You can see that the inside is totally perfectly lined, and that is what you want to see. And finally, I like to cook my fruit cake in a water bath because that allows for even baking and prevents my cake from over baking and burning. So I'm going to wrap the bottom end of the cake tin with some aluminium foil. And you're going to also need a square cake tray that fits the cake pan just like that. So my batter is all ready and it's in the cake tin, and all I'm going to do is just pour about ½ an inch of water into the square baking tray, and I'm going to bake like that. Don't forget to look out for the rest of my video showing you how to make an amazing, delicious fruit cake. You are going to absolutely love it. Happy baking.